fellow YouTubers, viewers, and friends out there. It's Mr. Leonidas, and I hope you're doing well. And this video is going to be a part 2 of a video that I earlier posted on my channel when I first got started on the whole YouTube thing. And basically it was covering some survival knife sheaths and the modifications that I'd done to them. So I've got 3 medium fixed blades here, and I'm just going to go over so like I said, some of the additions, maybe some of the modifications that I've done to their sheaths. And like I said, it's going to be tactical, and then some bushcraft related that I use these knives for. But I'm going to start with this is the Shark Tooth Tactical. It is from SLYSTEEL, made by Tops Knives. Here's the Kydex Sheath for it. I painted a custom Cryptek on the front there, and I added a Tech Lock on the back, just because I actually really like Tech Locks, because they're very wide. They work really well with your belt, good with the Molly and the Pals gear. Just an overall really good way to get your gear strapped down to other gear, your packs and your vests and things like that. Really like those. So there's a few simple modifications there. You can camouflage it, and then you can add on extra attachment ways. And as for the camouflaging, that's always fun to do, but I always like blending in to the environments that I'm kind of working in and out of, to kind of get your gear looking sort of uniform. I know in a lot of my videos I wear different camouflages mixed with some others, but the general idea is I get a lot of greens and browns in there. So moving on to the next knife here, this is a Tops Steel Eagle 105 HP, really nice knife. And just a really simple modification of the Kydex sheath here is I have zip tied down a single pistol magazine pouch. I believe it's a Voodoo tactical pistol pouch, and then all I've gotten here is a Gerber multi-tool, and it's one of the old school multi-tools, and works really well. It's obviously very well used, and that's something to add on to any kit or piece of gear. If you have a naked knife sheath, which unless it's camouflaged like that, which I could still add something on, if you got a naked knife sheath, throw something on there, because even with the multi-tool, the pouch is pretty much weightless. You're not going to weigh your knife down like that, unless you're putting like ammunition. You're actually putting a pistol magazine in there. Yeah, that's definitely going to make a difference. So moving on to the final knife here, this is a Bokor Vox. I believe it's the Rold model. Really nice knife, D2 tool steel. And this is a sheath that I done a video for Armory Plastics, and really nice Kydex sheath build that I did on my own from a kit they sent me. And what I've got here, this definitely looks a little different. So I have your basic survival tin, with some basic survival additions. I believe I have a small fire starting kit, some other various things like a compass. I have some spare batteries in the smaller little container right here. And so what I've done here is I used your hook and loop, or Velcro, and I attached it to the sheath. So I've got the female attachment to the sheath there, and then I have the other pouch attached as well. So you got these two containers, and they're both separate from each other, so which is pretty neat. I haven't really seen anything like this. So you got your survival pouch, or the survival tin, which I use double-sided tape to attach the hook and loop on this and the sheath as well. I think it works pretty good. And then the other container here, it's attached with an aircraft mechanics key ring. So if that comes disconnected from the hook and loop, I will not completely lose that. It's just going to dangle freely. So the deal with that is, I have to say, after some field trial here, it seems like it's working pretty good for me. Now, a lot of you out there might say, hey, that's going to get caught up on some stuff. I have had no such issues so far, because, I know one thing that really helped was putting this camouflage form tape was I double-sided taped that on, and that helps sort of, soften things up on the outside of the kit. So it's not, going to be scraping against things. If I brush up against something, it's going to be, it's going to be a soft sort of landing on that. So I thought that was going to be a little different. So I've seen people use the Velcro and hook and loop, for your tactical gear. I've seen on like shotguns putting shell carriers and things like that, but I haven't really seen it on a survival knife like that, or survival knife sheath. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and I have to say that, I think it's working pretty well for me. So there's just a few simple modifications. You may or may not consider the camouflage one. I think it's a fun little addition. I think it works for me. but then you got your, you know, the extra pouch on there. So a lot of your survival knives, you know, nowadays they'll come with sort of a pouch, but not all your Kydex ones. A lot of them, you know, they won't. You kind of got to do your own thing. So, you know, like I said, zip ties work. And then, you know, your Velcro and hook and loop, that's something that it's still pretty new to me, but I have to say, I think it's going to work pretty well. So this is Mr. Leonidas here, and I always appreciate your time, so have a good one.